How do you know if a real estate agent is lying to you, and how can you prevent this from happening? So why would a real estate agent want to lie to you? Well, the simple answer is they want to get the deal done. And they're afraid that if they gave you a truthful answer or give you the information that you wanted, you're not going to proceed with the deal. So I'll give you one example. Recently, we were trying to buy a commercial property in Melbourne for about $2.5 million. The selling agent kind of packaged the deal for us by saying, hey, look, here's a property, but we also got a blue chip tenant that wants to lease the property as soon as you buy it. So we thought, hey, that's pretty great because, we can buy the property and we've got a security of a tenant. That really, really works. And so we asked the agent for information. We said, hey, look, we want to know who the tenant is, and what are the lease terms, what are the rental terms, etc. And the agent simply said, hey, look, I can't give you any information right now because the negotiations are confidential. Once you sign the contract and that we know that you're committed, then we will be obliged to then release the information to you. So we thought a little bit odd, but you know what? Let's take the benefit of the doubt. Let's just proceed with the deal, and then we can, look at the lease terms and the tenant afterwards. So we proceeded with contract. Obviously, there is a due diligence clause in the contract. So if we don't get the valuation that we need, or the building inspection didn't work out, and we find problems with the property, then we can still get out of the deal. So that's really, really important to have that due diligence clause in the contract. So we signed the contract and went back to the agent and said, hey, look, we've signed the contract now, so give us the information that we need. We want to know who the tenant is, we want to know what the lease terms are, we want to know what the rent is, so that we can make an informed decision on the property. The agent basically kept withholding information and said, hey, look, you haven't done the valuation yet, you haven't done this, you haven't done that. We don't want to give you information just in case, the deal falls over and then, we've given you confidential information, da, da, da. And we felt really, really strange about it. And we simply went back to the agent and said, hey, look, this is common practice. I mean, we've demonstrated that we're interested. We've demonstrated, that we're keen. We've signed a contract. We spend money on lawyers. We spent a few $1,000s already. I mean, what else do you need? So long story short, after a lot of going back and forth and haggling with the agent very reluctantly provided the information that we wanted halfway through the due diligence. So we were running out of time. So I think what the agent was trying to do was trying to wait till the very last minute to give us the information so that we don't have any opportunities to, I suppose, revoke it or whatever, to question it, to kind of like strong arm us into the deal. So the information that they provided was everything that we asked for and more. So before we signed the contract, the agent did give us some preliminary information, such as, what the indicative rentals are, what the indicative terms are, and what are some of the lesser works or incentives that the tenant was after. So based on the word of the agent, we proceeded with the deal. After the full information was provided to us, we realized that on top of what the agent had said previously, what was withheld from us was the major capital expenditure that the tenant has requested the landlord to contribute. So there was about $200,000 to $300,000 of extra landlord works involved in the deal. Now, obviously, the agent knew about this, but omitted this information or withheld this information, I think on purpose, because they would know that if they told us about the extra $200,000 to $300,000 worth of works, we may pull out of the deal. Well, as a matter of fact, we did pull out of the deal, not because of this reason, but because of, other reasons. But this was a major factor in deciding whether this deal was worth it or not. Because if you're buying a $2.5 million property and there was an extra $200,000 to $300,000 of contribution or lesser works, it makes the deal less attractive. Now, if the agent had been upfront with us from day one or transparent with us from day one, maybe we could have worked around it and still get the deal done. So there's a lot of reasons why real estate agents might lie or withhold information. When you're withholding information that is key information on a certain property, I see that as lying, or at least being dishonest. So how can you tell if an agent is lying to you, and how can you prevent this? There's a couple of tricks that I've got, and this is probably nothing new to you, but this is what's worked for me in the past, and hopefully it'll work for you as well. So when you're seeking vital information from a real estate agent or a seller, and they're not really forthcoming, or you have some certain doubts, what I would do is I would actually ask the same question in a different way, in a slightly different way, and see what the response is. So if you were asking the same question maybe 3 or 4 times, and each time the real estate agent gave you a different reply or a different response or provided different information, obviously there's inconsistency, and that could be a reason to question whether the real estate agent is being honest or not. Look, it could be just negligence, but the topic of this video is not about negligence, it's about whether or not the real estate agent is lying. So if someone is giving you different answers on the same question, that's a red flag for me. So how can you prevent an agent misguiding you or lying to you or withholding information? I think there's 2 things that you really need to do. Number 1 is you really need to know your stuff. You really need to know the ins and outs of the market, the ins and outs of real estate, so that people can't pull the wool over your eyes. And then the other thing also is rely on your consultants, on the professionals that you've hired. Rely on your lawyer to pick up on things. Rely on your accountant, rely on your buyer's agent or town planner, whatever it might be that's in your team. Rely on them to uncover certain truths that you need to make a sound decision on whether to buy or not buy a certain real estate. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please subscribe. I'll make a lot more videos going forward, and I'll also start doing my vlog on my day-to-day activities as a CEO of one of Australia's leading commercial property buyers agencies. So definitely hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.